Do that vocal warm up.
Yeah.
So, shake it out. Here we go. So, here we go. Actually, I've got a tradition that we start with on the podcast. What we do is we go 3, 2, 1 and clap, and then we begin, and we're in. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Here we go. Well, welcome, Edidion. First of all, did I pronounce the name right?
Yes, you did actually, yes.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Many struggle.
No, I do struggle. Being dyslexic and reading a name that's slightly different, I'm like, oh God, I've got to get that one right. But no, if I did.
Yes, you did.
I'm happy. So here we are. We're at the Megaro Hotel near King's Cross, this very unique hotel. Every room is different in this place, and we're very grateful to be here today. What do you make of the place before we start getting into you?
This place is stunning. I love the design. It's very modern, but also futuristic, has a hint of nostalgia, and it fits the King's Cross London vibe really well. I definitely recommend you come down here and see it for yourself, because it's honestly, when I walked in, I was just like, wow.
It blows you away, doesn't it?
It really did.
And every corner that you turn, there's something new to discover.
Something that just grabs your eye. Yeah, for sure.
So we're very grateful for being here today for this conversation. But let's find out a little bit about you then. So all this last week I've been listening to your new EP, Phoenix. What a great vibe.
Thank you.
I've got a feeling there's some personal messages in there.
Yes.
It really it feels new, it feels fresh.
Thank you.
But it also feels a bit old school.
Yes.
It took me back to the 90s when I was young, and I was listening to like Usher. In one of the songs I was like, is that Usher? You got that kind of soft tone.
Thank you.
But
it's a huge compliment.
and I was listening to it. I was thinking, I wonder where your influences for this album came from.
Yes.
Because that's where it took me to. So tell me a little bit about the album.
Phoenix is an EP that was birthed out of personal things I went through. So actually, when I was creating this project, I was going through mental health issues, depression, and also going through heartbreak. As an independent artist, it's not sunshine and roses. It's a very difficult journey that has its ebbs and flows, ups and downs. You'll have moments where you'll see success and things are going well, and then things will go really quiet, and then you contemplate, should I continue? Should I do something else? So the one thing that kept me driven was, if I can use my story and what I went through to influence, inspire, and motivate someone else, then that's my purpose and that's my job. So I decided to just lead with that, and that's how Phoenix was created. And I actually came up with the title Phoenix because I loved the story of the Phoenix, how the Phoenix, rose from the ashes and it became stronger and went on to live for a very long time. And I feel like whenever we go through things as human beings, grief, being laid off, or things like being dumped or being rejected, so many things that we all deal with on a day-to-day basis that can break us. But it's all about finding that inner strength to keep going. If that could be your children or, your faith or whatever, there's always that one thing that you just need and you hold on to that keep you going every single day. So I wanted to create something that if someone's having a dark day or like a sad moment, they can play one of the songs and relate to what I'm saying and just feel motivated to just keep going. Because when I was going through tough times, I would listen to people like Michael Jackson, who came out with songs like We Are the World, and certain songs that when you listen to the lyrics, it just motivates you and keeps you going and makes you feel uplifted. And I just wanted to make people feel that same way. So every song on the EP, everyone can relate to it one way or another. So that's the birth of Phoenix, really. It's just my personal stories given to you guys to help motivate you. So.
So why use your art in this way? Why use your art to put a message out there in the world? Why put it into song? It sounds like you've gone through some hard times and you've had a bit of a rebirth yourself.
Absolutely.
So putting that into your music, what have you found that's done for you?
When I was going through depression, it was at a time where I didn't want to record and I didn't want to do any shows. I actually locked myself away, but I had to complete this EP because that was my goal. But I noticed that when I would go to the studio and I would like be writing songs and I would be in the booth just singing and recording and vibing with the engineer, I noticed that my mood and my overall just vibe would change and would become better, and I would heal more and more and more. And I noticed that through music and through recording, it was helping me. So that's how I knew for sure that if I write relatable lyrics, I know that other people will feel just as empowered as I felt. Because this project healed me too, you know. So I just wanted it to heal others. And growing up, like I said, Michael Jackson was one of the artists that I grew up listening to and I loved. And his songs made me feel motivated. He made me want to dream, you know, times when I felt misunderstood or I didn't fit in. There's many artists like Michael Jackson who I listened to that gave me that feeling. So if I can use my art in any small way to give that feeling back, then job done. So
yeah. What a powerful thing to be doing.
Yeah.
And so how long have you come to this realization that music can be so beneficial to you as much as it can be to others? Is that something you've always known and felt, or is it something new that you've discovered?
I'd say it's something new, because when I would perform live, I noticed how it affects people. Like after my shows, so many people would come up to me and say, you know, I like your energy on stage, and you gave me so much energy, and you made me feel so excited, and you took my mind off what I was going through, or I felt so tired today, but after just seeing you on stage, I feel so energized and I want more songs. So that's when I knew that music really is a powerful tool. And sometimes on your journey as an artist, I'm sure many artists can relate to this, many people would tell us that chasing this dream, you know, it's just a pipe dream, and it's just music, it's not that serious. But no, it is serious. Music really affects people. Like there are people out there who have come out of comas because of hearing sounds and music. There are people who are disabled that when they listen to their favorite song, it affects them. So music is a powerful tool, and I feel like it's one of my gifts. So any chance I can, I always aim to inspire and uplift people. I'll always have my club bangers and my party songs and all that, but there's always gonna be one or two songs on there that is motivational. Like there's a song on Phoenix called Phoenix. And it's a song that actually details my depression. But rather than making it about myself, like I turned it around and sung it like you. So basically I like sing a piece of it. So it goes, life's a roller coaster. Sometimes you feel like a winner. Sometimes you feel like giving up on yourself, A soldier on the front line, at war with the voice in your mind. Fake smiles in your eyes, bear no life. Now I'm inside. So what that means is, as an artist, there are times that I felt like I'm killing it and I'm doing so good. And then there's days where I'm like, I'm a failure. I don't think I can do this anymore. No one cares about my music. It really is a journey. And I know that other people, whether you're a singer, a businessman, businesswoman, you can relate to what I'm saying. So that's why I make songs like that, because I know people will be affected by it. And plus, when it's all said and done, that's what I want my legacy to be. Like, you know, he put out music that really helped to heal the world and helped to inspire people. And you know, he put out positive messages, because I don't take for granted where I'm at and my position, you know. So yeah, so Phoenix is a really powerful project. And going back to what you said, I was inspired by many artists. Usher, of course, you know, he is one of my biggest influences from childhood. Like when I saw him for the first time, I was just blown away. I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to do what he did, because I felt like Usher reminds me of me. And when you grow up in that way, you immediately know that art is powerful. Because when I was a child and I saw an example on a TV screen, it motivated me to pursue my dream. So I'm sure that maybe someone else out there who can relate to me may look at me and say, if he can do it, so can I. So that is my driving force, because trust me, there are days where I do not feel the most positive.
Yeah, imposter syndrome is real.
Absolutely.
And before we pressed record, we even spoke about how I, in the last week, have been like, well, am I doing the right thing? How do I keep moving forward? And
it's real.
I think there's some measures in society that for instance, we need money to survive, don't we? Within this culture, within this world that we all live. But how do we sometimes pursue our art and our craft and our purpose? It doesn't always align with a financial income, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And so that when you haven't got the things that society tells you need to have, it's sometimes quite hard to keep moving forward. And then I guess that's where that imposter syndrome starts to come in as well. You start questioning, are you good enough? Those little voices in your head. And in fact, I had that little voice. I was out for a walk the other day thinking a few things through, and the negative voice came in. And I've got this like really basic technique to get rid of that negative voice. I just go fuck off. Fuck
I love that.
Like just like keep it simple. Just like fuck off. Like if you think about it, you got this voice in your head, and you can talk to it as well. You don't just have to listen.
Just listen to it.
You don't have to listen. So when it comes in and it says you're no good, get out of it. I
like that.
And you know what? For me, that works. For me, then I can continue my work.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, give it a go. See what happens when it comes in, because I believe it comes in for all of us, and I believe it'll come back in again. You know,
of course,
at some point. And then I'll just have to remind myself to tell it that I have an option. I have an option with how I deal with that voice.
Yes, we have the power to control what affects us, and that's what I've learned on my journey as well. That I do have the power to choose joy, and also there is nothing wrong with being proud of ourselves and actually congratulating ourselves on our small wins, because we don't do that enough. I think sometimes we seek outside validation. We want someone else to tell us that we're doing well, but actually tell yourself that, you know, so that you don't chase outside validation, because that is also one of the sources to us feeling funny, is that if like nobody else is cheering us on, then we think we're not doing well, you know? So.
Well, let's, like, for a moment, get rid of all the outside metrics for validation. So all the praises by other people, the finances, the money, the likes on social media. Let's, like, clear that to one side for a minute. And then you've put an album out there into the world. You wrote these songs, you've sung, you've performed, you've produced. You know, you've been brave to put yourself out into the world.
Thank you.
You know, that's a really brave and vulnerable thing to do. So, yeah, get rid of the metrics. How does that feel?
It feels powerful, because working on this project was a lot of hard work. Long recording sessions, very expensive sessions. Again, when you're an independent artist, you wear many different hats, and I'm sure, you know, as a business owner, you know, you have to wear different hats and manage different things on your own. So it's hard work. But when my project was released and I saw it was out, I was like, wow, it's actually out. Like, I actually did that. I had a vision, I had a goal, I stuck to it, and it's out. No matter what it does, I put it out. And that's powerful enough. So, yeah, it felt good. I was like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to take a moment, don't you?
You do.
Because you put in all the hard work and you're looking at the vision of where you're going and where you'd like to go.
Yes.
But actually just doing the thing.
Yes.
Like, doing the thing, that is so powerful, isn't it?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the power of the phoenix, because I've seen this symbol help so many people throughout my life. My best friend, he has a big phoenix tattoo on his back.
Wow.
There was a point in his life where he felt like it was all falling apart, and somehow he came out of that and rose again.
Yes.
And he took on that symbol of the phoenix and really felt like he came out of the ashes, and was reborn. And many guests on the podcast previously, someone that jumps to mind, Louise Erskine, she was an early guest on here. She's a poet.
Oh, wow.
And she felt she was stuck in an abusive relationship.
Oh, my God.
And she was stuck in this world that she couldn't escape. But when she found a way to escape from that world, she felt like the phoenix. She felt like she was rising again and stronger. And it seems to be a thing with artists that maybe I'm questioning: do we have to go through something difficult in order for us to be able to pursue the thing that we need to do? Does it ignite us in some way? Does something get sparked in us once we've gone through something bad and we've started again?
That's such a good point. Because when you're going through it, you don't feel like that. You feel like this is crushing me to the core. But in actuality, I think it did ignite something in me, and I think it also made my art better, and it helped shape the songs to be what they are. So obviously, I mean, no one enjoys going through hardships, but I can say that I think when you're faced with adversity and like your back's against the wall, I think there's something in you that's like, okay, I need to get out of this. I need to fight this. So I think to some degree, you know, they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So I think in some degree, I think it does ignite something in you, and it also teaches you so much about yourself and what you can overcome. Because right now, I've overcome so many things that I'm like, you know what? If I can overcome all of that, I can overcome anything. So I think it's more of a teaching moment, personally. I don't think that every trauma that someone goes through, I don't want to say that, oh yeah, it's good and, you know, it makes you know, because I think some things that people go through are really messed up, like, you know, what you just mentioned. But I think when you come out of it, it's a teaching moment, and then, you know, if you have a platform, you can then tell your story to other people and then get them out of what they're going through. So it's all about how you use your trauma and your pain, because I've been through many things, like for instance, I was raised in the foster care system as a child, and you know, my father wasn't there, and things of that nature. So I know that there are other young people out there who have walked a similar walk to me. So me sitting here with you and talking about it, they can feel like, you know what, wow, you know, he's talking about it, he's empowered and he didn't let it break him. So you know what, that means that I can go for my dreams, and I'm not gonna let what I went through determine my future, because you know, he's not letting it stop him. So I think anything you go through is a life lesson and is a teaching moment. And I just want to say as well, just to those watching, that if you have overcome any painful experience or any painful moment and you've overcome it and you are stronger again and you're smiling again, I just want to say I'm very proud of you, and keep going, because I know what it's like to be in darkness and feel like you're not going to see the light again. And thankfully, through music and me living in my purpose by being an artist and being a creative and someone who expresses themselves, I'm so glad that I found myself again through that. So I just want to say I'm proud of you for finding yourselves again and for carrying on again. So yeah.
What a wonderful message as well. And
that was a long answer.
But this stuff is important though.
Yeah.
This stuff is, because I've had dark days as well, where I felt like I was completely alone.
Yes.
And actually, for me, podcasts were one of the things that brought me out of it, and hence why I'm one of the big reasons for why I'm doing this now.
Yes.
I remember.
And thank you for doing what you're doing as well.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Because you have no idea how many people you're helping too. So thank you.
And I hope even if it helps just one person,
Absolutely.
you know, that's enough. Sometimes going back to the metrics thing, sometimes we get wrapped up wrapped up on like we have to do this for the big numbers
the algorithm
and there's all these rules and this is. But you know what? One person, like I was that one person that day that listened to that podcast. I remember the podcast that changed things for me. It was Jay Shetty. Do you know Jay Shetty?
Yes, of course. Yes.
I was listening to his podcast, and all I needed to hear at that moment is "You are not alone." You know, and it made me feel quite emotional just saying that there.
Sometimes we feel.
But yeah, at times we can feel alone in this world. In these dark times. The world is a hard place for us to all navigate. And sometimes you just need to hear that sometimes. And by hearing a little bit about your story and your journey and how we can relate to that, like I say, someone else, there might be just one other kid out there in foster care that's going, well, you did this, you made it through, you're doing your music, you're doing your thing. Maybe I can too. And maybe that will give them the strength to move through that, hopefully. You know, maybe there's something in hope as well.
Of course, definitely. And that's why I often tell people, because, you know, some people come up to me and ask me, you know, like, how can I be an artist, or what advice do you have? I would definitely say, do what you do for the overall bigger picture of it. Like, don't do it for the money and the instant gratification, because when you don't get money anymore and you don't hear the screams anymore, or you don't get booked anymore, you don't want to base your worth on those things, because I used to. When you base your worth on applause and validation and how many times you get things, and then when those things slow down, it's like, whoa, what's happening here? So it's like, just remain rooted in your purpose. And that's literally how Phoenix came to be, because Phoenix originally was going to be a whole project full of party songs and up-tempo music, but I decided, no, let me actually sing about what I'm really going through this time. And that's how it came to be. So I just chose to stay in my purpose. And whether it got 1 stream or 1 million, when I look back on it years from now, I'll always be proud of the art I made. And at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. So,
tell me a little bit about the process of putting the album together then. So you said there that you started off with one idea that this would be about party songs, and it turned into something completely different. Tell me about that. How does that work for you? Where did it start?
Okay. Well, Phoenix, I was originally going to self-title it just like my name, because I wanted this project to be more like centered about me. But I'm not sure if like you've seen it, but at the end of every year, you know, like Apple Music and like Spotify, they put out these yearly stats.
Yes, I have.
Right. So I saw everyone else's on Instagram. I was like, wow, that's amazing. They got this, they got that. And then when mine came, I felt like the numbers for me were quite low.
Yes, I've heard this from artists, that it's having like an adverse effect. While some people are like, I can shout about this and the stats are great. That actually there's a lot of artists where it's like, you know, and
it's like a punch.
It's a punch to the gut, isn't it? Should we allow it to be that?
Good point. That's such a good point. If I would have heard that then, that would have helped. Because listen, Martin, like when I saw that, I was like, how can this be? I've been working so hard and I put this much money into this and that's it. Like that was the first like blow that really like messed me up. So it was from those moments then, I didn't feel like partying or being in the club. It just didn't feel authentic then, because I wasn't feeling like that. So then I think one of the first songs that I wrote that was honest was a song on my EP called Ghosting Me. That's the that's the UK garage R&B song, and because you talked about the like nostalgia vibe of it. Growing up, I loved garage. You know, I loved Craig David and Artful Dodger and that whole movement. So it's always been a dream of mine to do a garage tune. So when I got the chance to do it, I decided to write about something I really did go through and that really hurt my feelings. So I was talking to someone and we were like, it was going steady. Things were going well. Like we were talking about taking trips.
We're talking about a relationship
Yes.
here.
Well, I wouldn't say a relationship.
Okay,
but we were in the talk, you know, just kind of dating, just hanging out.
Yeah.
But we were talking about meeting the folks and traveling, and we're gonna do this in the future. I was like, oh, we're locked in. Then, out of the blue, no lie, communication ceased. I didn't see them, didn't hear from them again, and that crushed me. I was like, but I thought we were gonna do this and this and that. So then I decided to get my pen and pad and just write about it. I was angry, I was hurt, I was sad. Because when you're already feeling depressed and then that happens, it's like a blow back to back, like knockout, you know? So I said what helped me get it out, because I was angry. I was like, how could you do this? How could you ghost me? So then I just wrote about it. And that was the first instance of, wow, like that felt good to write about what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And then that's how the sessions and the songwriting became more honest and more vulnerable, you know, because in the song, you said our love was special. I thought we had potential. Before you, I was incomplete. You made your future plans with me. It felt like destiny. So baby, why you ghosting me? Like that's how I really felt. Like how could you do this to me? But I put it on a garage beat and it sounds fire. So yeah, so that's how it was. It was a natural, gradual process. That's one thing I loved about Phoenix was it was organic. Nothing about it was contrived. Oh yes, we're gonna do this today. It was just like,
it's whatever came from you,
yes,
and you released it.
Yeah, and that's what I love about it. And I think, and that's why when people listen to it, they tell me like, this feels really organic and it feels like you. So, yeah.
So take me back to the beginning then, of where your music career started. Where did you realise that music was your thing?
My thing?
Has it kind of always been there?
Yes,
you know,
I'd say so.
It's always been like
From birth, yeah.
From birth.
Yeah. Like
How do you know that?
I was that baby who I loved dance. I loved music. That was the first thing I was instantly attracted to, and I was just curious about. Like I was that baby who would like open album booklets and like read the like liner notes and the inserts, and I was that baby who was glued to the television watching MTV and copying the dance moves. And anytime anyone around the house would play music, I would always dance. Like there's many stories of me being that small, dancing and going to the like vinyls and the CD rack, and just so that attraction was there. And then of course, you know, seeing Usher and then seeing Michael Jackson, that was that spark. I was like, oh my God, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to dance and I want to perform and look cool in the videos, you know. So then as I got older, I then had an interest in TV as well, you know, just the whole entertainment industry I just was fascinated by. So aside from music, I was always watching, you know, like E! News.
All right, yeah,
and all the gossip tabloids and celebrity culture. So I just was immersed in that world and I loved it. I was always curious about it, and I would always talk passionately about it. And that was when I knew that, okay, there's something in me that definitely has a fire for music. And then it was dance classes, and then I took drama in school, and I did plays and acting workshops. So I was always immersed in that culture and in that world. And then obviously you'll have older people that will see something in me, and then they'll tell me, you know, yeah, you need to continue because you're very naturally gifted at dance, and you know, you've got like a presence to you. But I wouldn't say unfortunately, but I'd say what sort of stunted my growth when I was younger was I had very, very low self-esteem. And because I had low self-esteem, I didn't believe I could really go on stage and be a star. I loved it though, I had a passion for it, but I never felt I was good enough or cool enough to be a star, you know? So it was more when I left college that I decided, okay, I'm just gonna go for it, because I always used to write songs in school. Like I would write songs during class, and then I would show my friends quietly. I would whisper and sing the songs really quietly and say, "Oh, look at this song I wrote." So that passion and that fire and that creativity was always in me. But I had to work through my like low self-esteem and my childhood trauma. Once I worked through all of that, then I was able to find my artistic identity, and that's why many people who know me, they're like, I can't believe that's you. Like, you know, Eddie, you never used to speak. Like, look at you on stage running from here to there. So, you know, it's a journey. And once again, going back to Phoenix, this is why I do what I do. Like, even days when I don't feel like performing, I keep telling myself that there's a young person out there who's walking the same walk I'm going through. And that person needs a hero. The way I looked at Usher when I was small, I want them to look up to me and say, if Eddie can come from this part of London, go through all of that, and then be what he is now, then that means I can do it too. So that's what drives me, because I feel like people need that example out there. People need that representation out there. And, you know, even as a person of color, I feel like it's important to show different representations of men of color. We're not all the same. We don't all think the same. We don't all make the same music. We have different views and opinions, and we don't all talk the same, because I was picked on a lot growing up for how I spoke and the things I was interested in. Because when you're younger, it's like everyone has a groupthink mentality that you need to look like this, walk like this, and talk like this to be accepted. And because I didn't fit in at all growing up, it was hard. So now I'm at a place now, this is me, take it or leave it. This is my art, take it or leave it. And I will eventually find my tribe of people.
Well, it's amazing to hear that you're in this space, that you have this. It takes a long time. It took me till nearly 40 to feel that. I felt that at school. I felt this kind of separation from people. I felt a bit there was something different about me. At school, I didn't know I was creative. I was always telling stories in my head. But I didn't really fully understand what
poetry?
Well, because I was dyslexic, I really struggled with learning and just kind of shut myself off to it. Even to the point that learning made me quite anxious. And so there was this storytelling going on in my head, and then the classrooms were happening, and I had some individual friends at school. But I knew that the things that I loved was film, and I'd seen a little bit of theatre, and I knew I loved this, like you said, like this world of like entertainment, escapism. Yeah, it was escapism, and so there was this feeling of being different. For me, I was quite lucky that when I left school, I found theatre, and I started to find that whilst in school I didn't connect with anyone. In theatre, I did. I started to find that community, the tribe.
Like-minded individuals.
Individuals, that
so
tribe.
Powerful.
And I started to go, oh, I'm not odd.
I'm not strange. I'm not weird.
I'm not weird. And then the things about me that are strange and are weird, they're things to be celebrated. You know,
qualities,
they're qualities rather than at school you're kind of pushed into this place of, you're in a box. And coming to that, you know, as we're talking about that box and things, I do feel society now is trying to push people into categories too much. And I feel like, no, we're all individuals, and we can branch out in so many different ways.
And be versatile and change our form, our shape, whenever we want to.
Yeah, it's all our choice, isn't it? And for me, like I say, it took me till nearly 40 to recognise that.
It's a journey.
Because I was so... I think society had drummed it into me to be a certain way. And it wasn't till I kind of had that moment of of like breakdown,
Yes.
of like you say, like this whole thing of rising
Yes,
again
yes.
and starting afresh, like rising as a phoenix.
That's what pain and trauma does.
Pain
to
and
you.
trauma does,
It
yeah.
does.
And so that when I came out of that, then I started to feel like, oh, this is me, and I'm
Yes,
okay with
yes.
being me, and I'm okay if there isn't anyone else
Yes.
that is around. But it's nice when there are others around.
And isn't that feeling so powerful?
It's freeing.
It really
It's,
is liberating.
I believe that's, for me, that's true freedom.
Absolutely. Because it's like, I felt like I was like living in a prison for a very long time, you know, and I was just boxed and caged. And then it's also things that I took so seriously. I'm like, you know what? It's really not that serious. Like, we have a lot of choice. But sometimes growing up, like you said, people will drum things into your head that if you don't do this, this is gonna happen. And if you're not this way, that's gonna happen. But it's like, well, no, we all have our own stories, paths, and walks. What works for you won't work for me, you know? So, yeah, but it took me a while to get to where I'm at now. So, yeah.
And this goes back to within hearing a bit about your story, the message of hope for others that are currently in this position, that they're feeling like they're trapped.
Yes.
You know, maybe we can show that you can break free of that. And even once you break free of that, that's not the end of all your struggles.
No. No,
you know, there's still things to work on and move forward with.
But it's how
you deal with it and
struggles.
how you learn.
Absolutely. Like when you said, when you hear the voices, you tell them to bugger off, right? But see, now we know, okay, next time I'm facing this thing again, this is how I'm going to deal with it, because I don't want to go back to that dark place again. It's not a nice place to be, so... Yeah.
And if you do, you've learnt some lessons.
Absolutely.
Maybe you've got some tools to help you out. That when you're in a dark place, a dark moment, you can go, right, I know that in the past it helped me when I turned this into a song. So maybe let's give that a go again.
Yes. And plus, I think for me, and it's different for everyone, but I like staying busy. I like being outside. I like working. I like being on stage. I like always being active and just being in my purpose. Because when you're too much in your thoughts and idle, that's when... so I think just find your thing, find your way of keeping yourself active and, going and, go out and, go to a museum, like, meet with some friends, like always try and, I say as well, what I've learned is as I've gotten older is just doing my best to live the best quality of life as I can. Always making sure that I'm trying something new. And even if I get scared sometimes, that's a good thing. Always dare to be different and dare to try new things, just try and live your life as much as you can, because time passes by so quickly. So that's why I'm so glad that even though it took me a while, I'm glad that I'm an artist now, and I'm singing and I've got songs out. Sometimes I'm like, I've actually got songs out. I perform and I'm an artist now. Like, even if I'm not signed yet and I'm not a huge mainstream star yet, but the fact that I am an artist, like I can say that I'm a singer now, That's a win.
That's a massive win. That's you talked a little bit about legacy there. That's a massive, that you mentioned earlier about a journey, that we're all on this kind of journey, and we're going down a path that we don't know when that's going to come to an end. So even if you just look back at what you've done now, and you've got this thing that you created on the journey, Phoenix, how wonderful is that, and how powerful that can be for just you.
Yes. And plus,
that can live on past you.
Listen, exactly. Like, and with Phoenix, and that's why I really appreciated when you talked about how good the songs are and how it brought you back to that like 90s, 2000s vibes. One thing that's important to me, because I grew up in that time, I want to make timeless music. I'm very inspired by the legends, the Michaels, the Ushers, Tina Turners, James Brown, Luther Vandross, like all of these people that have made music that have just stuck. And I know that songs like Phoenix and certain songs on my project that you could play them 20 years from now and the messaging will still resonate, and that's important to me. I would like to be an artist that sticks around. I don't just want to be here and have a viral moment and then disappear. So that's why it's important to me to make songs of substance. Don't get me wrong, like I'm going to make songs that are turn-up club songs. Obviously, you know, everyone has them.
So what's the difference between a turn-up club song and a song and a piece of music that sticks around? How do you know? Can you know the difference? Or yeah, what is it? What is the key to that?
I think the difference, well, for me creatively, is I've done songs that are trendy for the time. So there's a song on my EP called Summer, and that song's trendy. You know, it's quite modern. It's trap R&B, you know, vibe. It's fun. It's sassy. It's cool. It's edgy. That's a fun song. You know, that sounds good now because it's modern. But songs like Phoenix and Reckless Lover, the first track of the EP. I'm very proud of that song because that song is a ballad. It's very slow. It's very emotional. It's deep, and it's basically a guitar and drum driven song. It doesn't have all these modern instruments. It's a song that you can play today, 30 years from now. It will still sound just as good. And Reckless Lover, for instance. That song is, again, about me basically going through different dating situations and like all of them failing and it not going right. And I've been told by people that I'm a huge romantic and I'm a hopeless romantic. And sometimes to some people that can be heavy. And when you're dating someone, they're like, whoa, like, okay, too much. You like the flowers, the roses, and the candlelit dinners, and the long walks in the park. It's like you live in a fairy tale, and like some people can be scared off by that.
Yeah.
So I wrote a song for all my hopeless romantics out there. Like, listen, I see you, I feel you, because I go through the same thing, you know. So I know that message will forever resonate because everyone goes through situations like that. So I think making sure that the story and the moral of the song is timeless. Like, for instance, falling in love. Everyone's going to fall in love from today until the end of time. So just making sure that just the messaging of your song will resonate today and forever. That's what makes timeless music, you know? And sometimes going back to the basics. There is nothing wrong with going back to tradition because I'm very traditional in my approach to music and as a performer. When I touch the stage, I take it seriously. Like, that's my craft, you know? And when you're trained in like theater and all that, you take stagecraft and your performance and everything really high, you know? So, and I also believe in earning your place in music. I want to earn my spot. I don't mind traveling around the whole UK, shaking hands with everybody. I've done shows in front of 5 people before, 3 people, thousands of people. I don't mind earning my stripes. And I feel like a lot of young people in my generation, we want the quick fame and the viral stuff. I mean, it's cool to go viral. Like, I've got songs that have thousands of views, but nothing.
It gives you a dopamine hit, that's for sure. I've got.
It does.
As we speak, I've got one clip on my social media that's popping off. It's completely random. I wouldn't expect that particular clip to be doing so well.
It's always them ones you don't expect.
That you don't expect, and yeah, it feels good for a moment. It's like, oh, I figured out something that works,
and plus because you've worked hard on it.
Yes, yeah.
It's a nice reward.
It's a nice little moment. It's like, oh, hold on, thank you. But to get caught up in that, I think that's the danger, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, don't get me wrong, celebrate your wins.
Yes,
like, that's a win. Like, that's really good. But it's not all about that. Always focus on the bigger picture. Like, I'm sure, like, you know, like, when you got the phone call from the person who runs this place, what was his name?
Henry,
right?
Yeah.
And Henry told you that he loves your podcast. You see, it's things like that.
That's an amazing achievement that one person listens
real life.
In real life,
affecting.
Yes.
See, there we go.
Whereas those social media hits and likes and viral achievements aren't necessarily real.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It's nice.
Yeah.
but
it's not everything.
Yeah, I want that real life impact, that in person feel. Like when people come up to me after my show, that feeling.
As human beings, we know the difference, don't we? We instinctively know. Yes, it gives us a little quick hit of congratulations, but sitting here with you right now. It has so much more value than 25,000 people in a day.
We love you.
Do you know what I mean? The impact of one-on-one is more than 20,000 people. Do you know? It's 20,000 hitting the like button. That's just that.
Right.
This is one-on-one, or when you're doing a performance and you've got 100, 200 people there. The feeling of that is real, and we know it as humans, don't we? Why do you think we know that?
Because I feel like I'm going to speak for me, where I feel like we live in a very digital age where things are AI and things are so based on social media and on our phones, that I feel like we are beginning to know the difference is that when we communicate in person and we see our friends in person and we meet our friends and we talk to our friends on a face-to-face, and you're laughing and you're joking and you're taking pictures and you're enjoying the night and you're actually having a moment, you're creating a real memory. That doesn't compare to being on Instagram and then you take a picture and then someone likes it and then leaves a comment. It's nice, but nothing will ever, I don't care how advanced technology gets, nothing is ever going to beat human connection and human memory and touch. And
I'm going to go back to love.
Oh, yes,
I think love is an energy that is real. That is, when you're performing and you've got your audience there, I believe there's an energy of love coming from them through the appreciation that you can't even possibly get through social media. You can't. That energy doesn't necessarily translate. It's not
the same.
You know.
I appreciate the love I get.
Yes, of course.
Because thanks to social media, we can reach people globally. So I'm sure somebody from a different country say, Martin, I love your podcast.
Yeah,
that's a cool
and
thing.
how would we have connected without social media?
Social media, right.
Because actually I haven't asked you that. How did you come across this podcast? How did you discover this?
On YouTube, sometimes YouTube will give you
like a suggestion,
like a for you, recommendations. Because I like artist interviews and podcasts, I would see. So then I saw you pop up, and then I clicked it because I saw that you were doing something on the Fringe.
That's right. Yeah, I
was watching
Fringe.
Those videos.
Right. Okay.
And I just loved how authentic you were. That's why when I saw it, and then your interviews, I felt like there's just a realness that comes from you, and your questions are just real, not rehearsed. It's just like a human conversation. It's not contrived, and there's an energy that you emit through the screen. I said, I really just love that warm energy, and it's like a safe space.
I really do appreciate that.
And as a creative, when you see another creative, it's like, I just love the vibes. I'm like, I want to come on this show.
So, well, there you go. That's an amazing.
I'm here. So
that's an amazing example of how the internet can be used for good.
Absolutely.
How social media can connect us and bring us together.
Yes. It has its advantages.
It does have some advantages. So we're living in an amazing time, actually, aren't we?
We are.
Where we can do this.
We are.
Because without the internet, without social media, this might not. This type of connection might not have happened.
Yes. And plus, we can get our ideas off the ground. You can start a podcast, like I've mentioned on here,
we're doing this with we started with the phone in my pocket.
He's using his phone. I thought you had a whole professional camera thing set up.
Yeah.
Because your quality is so good.
Yeah.
But look, see, guys, it's
I'm losing the will to speak. I got a cold and I'm holding back the cough. But iPhone 13 Pro. Yes, I've got these mics, which are awesome, the DJI mics. So I've upgraded as I went along.
Yes.
But the initial, very first episode, number one, is the phone, and that's it.
That's what it takes, guys.
And then, this is 300 episodes later that we add in the microphones,
Can we
and we
clap for that? 300 episodes. Come on,
thank you.
Absolutely.
And that's an achievement.
Absolutely.
Because along that way,
hard work.
It's hard work
and a strong work ethic. So
Yeah, and it takes a lot to get there, a lot of long nights, and because it isn't just me and you sitting down right now. You have to edit. You have to do the social media stuff. You have to cut all the episodes up for promotion.
That's what you guys don't see.
Yeah, all the work that behind the scenes. You might see this 1 minute, you know, as this is cut up into a clip, but you don't see the 30 hours. The time that I spent doing my research on you, discovering your music. And doing that with all the guests as much as I can.
And thanks for doing that, because not everyone does their research on their guests. And again, that's a lost art form nowadays. Like, people don't do their research. So thank you for keeping that professionalism going.
Well, I'm interested, and I think that's one of my natural, I was going to say gifts. That I have this natural curiosity.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I want to discover more about you. So
because we're creative.
Yeah, so I listen to your music and I'm like, where did that idea come from? Where did you get that inspiration?
Yeah.
What happened there to make you feel this way?
Yes.
Why did you feel like you had to share this ghosting that you received? You know,
because other people have gone through it too.
Yeah. So and again, we're living in this age now where the research isn't actually too hard to do. Because we share on social, we share on social media. As soon as I know your name, I can Google you, I can look you up on YouTube, I can listen to your music on Spotify, and I can get a good feel for who you are. It's not always true, I've noticed.
So take things with a grain of salt, but So do you have a song of mine that you like or you gravitate to, or you feel like
that song, the Phoenix, is one that jumps Phoenix. To my, the Phoenix, that really resonated with me because of my own personal journey. That was one that was and the sound and tone of your voice in that song took me back to that 90s vibe, that era that I'm from. That was my childhood, the 90s. That I was that's when I really enjoyed R&B, and I was listening to it a lot. And actually, recently, I've come a little bit away from R&B in recent years, but your music took me back to that. This morning on the train on the way into London, I put on an R&B mix, and I was listening to all the old school music again. Thank you for taking me back to that. And isn't that an amazing thing that you can do with your art? That you can drive people in a direction. In you took me back to my past and rediscovered some music that I'd put aside for a moment.
That's huge. Thank you.
That is a wonderful thing to be able to give to people.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about your hopes, your dreams for the future. You sound like you're in a good place now. You're doing the work. You're creating. Yes. Where would you like to go next?
I would like to definitely become a global superstar. Like I said, I grew up watching examples like Michael Jackson, Usher, Janet, people of that caliber who were great entertainers. Because if you look at my stage shows, I'm very big on giving people an experience. I love to perform. So I would love the opportunity to do tours. Wembley is my hometown, so I would love to do a show in Wembley Arena. That's my bucket list. I would love for my music to travel around the world and reach as many people as possible. I would like to venture out and do acting, because I'm an actor. I've done adverts, I've done short films, plays. So I would love to go back into TV and do that. I would also like to be a clothes model, do a couple brands and stuff like that. Just be a very multifaceted brand and artist. Not just
don't just be in that box.
Not just known for music.
That you can do many different things. You can branch out with your art.
Yes, and I just want to be multifaceted, reach as many people as possible, and also create foundations and charities. Maybe name it after Phoenix or something like that, because I've always been interested in giving back. So I would love to do things like that and just continue to use my platform, my music and my voice to inspire and help and motivate other people, and most importantly, create great music. I love music. I love playing with new sounds and exploring things. So I just always want to be creative, cutting edge, and just being the best version of me that I can be, really. And then hopefully when it's all said and done, when they talk about the best like R&B singers to do it, I hope that my name is listed amongst them. So yeah.
I've got a really hard question for you now, but I think you're going to know the answer to this. Okay. Have you any idea how you're going to get from where you are now to where you're going next?
Ooh. Martin. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. I feel like being consistent is one of the things. Pushing myself to be creative, trying new things, continuing to network, push myself, definitely collaborate with other artists and other people, and travel. Those are some of the things I can think of. I can't think of anything else.
Well, they sound like some good stepping stones. It sounds
like I'm on the right path.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got this idea of exploration in what you're doing here, and in exploring these things, and you added in travel into that. Then you sound like you're open to discover some new things along the way.
And even when you listen to Phoenix, every song on there is different. It's a different genre, different sound. I'm like that. I'm versatile. I love to play, explore. I'm never boxed into one category. So.
Well, we'll make sure that in the bottom of this conversation that we'll add links to your album. And in fact, if it's okay with you, we'll add a clip from one of your songs on the end of this video.
That'd be great.
So that people can get a little sample of you and your music. And I really appreciate this conversation that we've had today. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Just before we go, one little bit of advice I would like to get from you.
Okay.
Where and what would you say to someone that you mentioned that when you was young you was in foster care?
Yeah.
So what would your leaving message to someone that's in foster care right now that feels a little bit of a spark and an energy for music? Where and what would you say to them to do next?
My advice to you as someone who is in foster care or someone who is going through circumstances that they feel limits them, I would say, please continue to dream big. Don't allow your circumstances or what anybody tells you, because sometimes people will put things in your head and they will make you feel like you can't branch out and you can't make it out of your hometown or you can't do what you want to do. Keep that dream alive within. Always find ways to express yourself. Link up with the right people. Make the right friends. Watch the company you keep. And be very mindful of who you share your energy with as well. And I would always say, stay motivated and keep dreaming, and there is nothing that can stop you from doing what you want to do. Everyone in this world has a right to live their dreams, travel, explore, and be the best versions of themselves. Just because you started in a certain place, that doesn't mean that's where you're gonna end up. So just always have that in the back of your mind that just because I'm here right now, I'm not gonna be here forever. Every little step I take will eventually lead me to where I want to go, because when it comes to me, I've been taking little steps for years. And finally, I wouldn't say finally, but I'm at a place now where I'm an artist now. I'm doing shows, I'm being offered shows, I'm putting out music, I'm being creative, I have become what I have dreamt of becoming. That's why sometimes I trip myself out, like, if I could show 13-year-old me that in the future, this is what you would be doing, I would have laughed. I'd be like, oh, please, that's not, And also one other thing, if someone speaks life into you, Don't shove it off and say, no, that's not gonna happen for me, and no, that's not me, because I did that all the time. People would tell me when I was growing up that you have potential, you've got star quality, there's something about you that's really special. And because I didn't believe in myself, I would say, no, no, no. But when people speak life into you, say, yes, thank you, I appreciate that, and work towards it. And also, try and find a mentor, or if there's a youth club, or just find any outlet that can help you to nurture your dream and your goal. And don't be afraid to dream big. Take that college course, go to university, follow your passions, and don't let anything limit you. You are good enough, you are worthy and special, and you can do it. You can do it, and I am living proof that you can do it. So. That was a long answer,
This has been wonderful, and I think this has been so important that you mentioned your 13-year-old self there as well, because I think your 13-year-old self would be proud of you. If he could meet you today, he would say, well done.
Thank you.
So I really appreciate this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. And if anyone has been watching or listening, we're grateful for you joining us for this conversation.
Absolutely.
And once again, we're grateful to the Megaro Hotel.
Stunning.
Thanks
Come
again.
and visit, guys.
Come and visit.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. When you fall and feel defeated, rise up like a phoenix. Life's a roller coaster. Sometimes you feel like a winner. Sometimes you feel like giving up on yourself, on yourself. A soldier on the front line, at war with the voice in your mind. Fake smiles in your eyes, but no life. Numb inside, numb inside. Racing against time like a track star. Dreams feel so close but so far. Wishing you could be where they are, so you grind over time. It might be delayed, but it ain't denied. Tears you cried, you will survive. When you fall and feel defeated, rise up like a phoenix. Said it might be delayed, but it ain't denied. Tears you cried, you will survive. When you fall and feel defeated, rise up like a phoenix. You start looking at what's ahead of you, and the peace comes from your gratitude. Ain't letting roadblocks divert you. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Celebrate small wins, they matter. Gotta keep climbing up that ladder. Blessings coming in, they stacked up. It's your time, it's your time. If you ride solo, that's okay. Tell them it's a no-go if the vibe's fake. Loving on you, yeah, that's the new way. They don't recognize you cause you've changed. It might be delayed, but it ain't denied. Tears you cried, you will survive. When you fall and feel defeated, rise up like a phoenix. Said it might be delayed, but it ain't denied. Tears you cried, you will survive. When you fall and feel defeated, rise up like a phoenix.